Have you ever prayed so hard the words didn't come? Just silence, tears, and a trembling body? Have you ever returned home only to find the place where your story began completely erased? Hello, I am Kavovi, your storyteller, and this is African Folktales by Kavovi. This is not just a story of hunger or grief. It's the story of a young man whose dreams stood alone at graduation, with no hand to hold, no voice to cheer. And yet, something happened that no one expected. Stay with me. In the village of Kibongoni, tucked between sun-baked hills and dusty footpaths, lived Baba Amani and Mama Nalia, two humble souls whose wealth could not be measured in cattle or coin. Their entire world was built around a small plot of land they had inherited from Baba Amani's grandfather. It wasn't much, just enough for a few rows of maize, a chicken coop, and the crooked mud hut they called home. But they had something the world could not take away, a son named Amani. Amani was born in a thunderstorm, and Mama Nalia always said that's why his eyes looked like they had secrets from the sky. He was the kind of child who asked questions about everything, who read old newspapers that wrapped vegetables, and who sat outside the classroom after school ended just to copy notes from older students. They knew from the beginning Amani was going somewhere. But somewhere in this world costs money. So when the university acceptance letter arrived, Baba Amani held it like sacred scripture. The boy had been accepted to Mashariki University, a top school in the city. His heart swelled with pride. But when the joy settled, reality stood up like a shadow in the corner. They had no money. That evening, after Amani had gone to fetch water, Baba Amani sat quietly by the cooking fire. He didn't speak for a long time. Finally he said, "Nalia, the land is all we have." Mama Nalia's eyes welled up. "If we lose the land, where will we grow food?" He didn't answer immediately. He just stared at the flickering flame. "And if we don't send him, what kind of life will we have?" They knew what that land meant. It had been in the family for generations, but this was their only child, their only shot. So Baba Amani walked hours the next day to Lengo Sacco, the local lending group. He put up the land as collateral and signed the papers with trembling hands. And that's how Amani went to university, with nothing but books, dreams, and the hope of his parents balancing on a signature. University life was nothing like the village. Amani felt small in lecture halls full of confident, city-born students. He wore the same faded trousers week after week and rationed his food like it was medicine. But he worked harder than anyone. His classmates noticed how he never missed class. His lecturers noted his sharp mind. But no one knew what was behind that hunger. Every end of semester, he would go home to his parents and they would sit outside drinking sweet black tea. Baba Amani would ask about grades. Mama Nalia would feel his arms and ask if he was eating enough. These were the moments that made the struggle worth it. But in his final year, after first semester, Amani boarded the bus with excitement. He couldn't wait to eat from his mother's clay pot, to lie on the floor and hear the frogs croak at night. When the bus pulled into Kibongoni, he started walking. The path to their home was familiar, until it wasn't. There was no hut. The trees were there. The breeze was the same, but the hut had vanished. In its place was a stranger, kneeling beside a sack of maize. "Excuse me," Amani asked. "Where is Baba Amani's home?" The man stood up and wiped his hands. "You mean you don't know?" "Know what?" The man hesitated. Your parents died 2 months ago. The roof collapsed during a heavy storm. People tried to help, but it was too late. They were buried at the village cemetery. Amani blinked. No, that can't. And the land? The man added quietly. It was taken by the lenders. They said the debt wasn't fully cleared. Only a quarter was left, Amani whispered, as if the wind could reverse the past. He didn't cry there. He just turned and started walking. He walked like a ghost, following a path he knew too well. He reached the cemetery by sunset. There they were, 2 wooden crosses. One read, Amani Omari, the other, Nalia Amani. He knelt. He wept. And then he lay down, curled up in the soil, and wept some more. He didn't go home. There was no home to go to. He stayed by the graves the whole night, whispering things to the sky, asking questions that had no answers. God, what now? At dawn, a shadow fell over him. It was Mzee Bwanika, his late father's old friend. I heard someone came to the cemetery last night, the old man said softly. I knew it had to be you. Amani didn't respond. You'll stay with me until school opens, he said. And just like that, the boy who once had a home found shelter with someone who remembered love. When the new semester began, Amani returned to school like a soldier with no bullets. He had his books, his pen, but no money, no rent, no food. For days, he drank water and waited for sleep to swallow the hunger. He'd sit through lectures, dizzy, copying notes he barely understood. On the 4th day, he couldn't take it anymore. His stomach was twisting. His legs were weak. He walked slowly to the office of Professor Nyaga, his strict but fair math lecturer. He knocked once, then again. The door opened, and Amani broke. I'm sorry, sir, he said, crying openly. I'm not asking for money. I just need food. I'll work. Anything. Wash floors. Clean your yard. Please, I just want to finish school. Professor Nyaga looked at him long and hard, then walked to his drawer, pulled out a card, and scribbled a name. Go to this address. My friend Mr. Muli is looking for a gardener. You start tomorrow. Mr. Muli's compound was near the university. Amani worked every afternoon after classes, sweeping the yard, cutting grass, watering flowers. He ate in the kitchen with the workers, slept in a small room with a thin mattress, and studied by the light of a flickering bulb. He didn't tell anyone what had happened, not his classmates, not even his roommate, who thought Amani had found a part-time job out of ambition. But every night, he prayed, not for comfort, for strength. And when exam season came, Amani buried himself in books. He solved equations while scrubbing floors. He memorized formulas while planting bougainvillea. And when the results came out, he topped the class. Graduation came with drums and ululation. The campus was filled with proud parents, colorful dresses, and hired photographers. But Amani walked alone. He wore a second-hand black suit borrowed from a church elder. He didn't take photos. He didn't pose. He just stood near a tree, holding his scroll like it might fly away if he let go. No one noticed him. Until someone did. She was tall, in a navy blue dress. Her head wrap was tied with quiet dignity. Mrs. Achieng, the keynote speaker, CEO of one of the largest tech firms in the country. She had watched him from the podium, noticed how he didn't smile during the group photos, how he quietly stepped outside while others shouted joy. Now she stood in front of him. "Why are you alone, graduate?" He tried to speak, but his throat tightened. "My parents, they passed," he managed. "And what did you study?" "Math and computer science." She nodded. "Do you have plans after this?" He shook his head. "Good," she said. "Come by my office on Monday. I'm hiring. And I think someone like you shouldn't be lost to this world." And just like that, the story turned. Amani didn't get a miracle in thunder or lightning. He got a miracle in a woman who noticed. He got an answer in a job that let him build a new life, one that honored his parents, not with tears but with triumph. He later bought back that same land. He rebuilt the house exactly how he remembered it. And he planted 2 mango trees near his parents' graves, one for Baba Amani, one for Mama Nalia. He visits every year, kneels in the dust and whispers, "I kept my promise." Sometimes all you have is your faith. No food, no family, no roof. Just prayers whispered into a night that refuses to answer. But hang on, because somewhere, someone is watching. And when your strength runs out, God sends people. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Have you ever been in a season where only God could carry you through? Share your story below. Let someone else find hope in your survival. Because here, we tell stories that remind you, you are not forgotten.